The views and opinions expressed by our guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect those of our partners, hosts, or affiliates. Our goal is to support short track racing and the dedicated men and women who make it possible, while providing entertainment for our listeners. Now, sit back, enjoy the show, and let's hear the stories.
And they made the comment to me, they said, one day you're going to wake up and realize that you spent your whole life with this racing deal and you haven't experienced anything else, you know, and you've missed out on a lot of other things. And my comment back was, yeah, but I did exactly what I wanted to do.
Look, if you fight the pitch, you're going to jail.
Right.
If you fight on the track, the winner gets $100, the loser gets 50.
It feels like your entire season, it feels like your entire life is riding on that Friday.
It was an ordeal, you know. And he was my race car friend. You know, you always say, I'm going to do race car things with my race car friends, you know.
I didn't realize how close the snowball came to going away.
It was very, very close. Very close. My claim to fame is I got to stop a NASCAR race for at least an hour.
It's considered the most prestigious short track race in America. And in December, the racing world will gather in Pensacola to etch their name in the history books forever.
It's the pinnacle of short track racing.
I want to know the stories. I want to hear the stories. Hey guys, welcome back to the Short Track Shakedown, brought to you today by Blackwater Bookkeeping. I am Josh Goodwin alongside my good friend Jake Moore. Jake, how are you, bud?
Man, super excited for this one.
Absolutely. Today we've got two living legends coming in the house. It's going to be Ricky Haugen and Bobby Pittman. Mr. Bobby owns the number 12 vintage car. That thing has probably won more races than any other car.
Iconic car around here.
Really, truly iconic. Ricky Haugen's been driving it for him for a while now, and I can't wait to hear this story.
This is going to be awesome. I can't wait for this one.
Yeah. Well, let's get them in the house, Jake.
Let's do it. Do you own a small business? Do you know how much profit you made last month? Do you know what your biggest expense was last month? Do you even know that you need to know these things? Well, you need to call Blackwater Bookkeeping if you didn't answer yes to any of those questions. Steph at Blackwater Bookkeeping can help you figure out where your money's going and where it's coming from, and help you strategize your business in the best way based on the numbers. Numbers don't lie.
She can also get you ready for next year's tax season and be ahead of the game instead of behind the eight ball. Give her a call today at 850-290-3043.
And remember, whether it's startups or cleanups, Steph can get it done.
Well, Mr. Bobby, Ricky, thank y'all so much for being here and making the trip all the way up here to Molina, Florida. And I appreciate y'all sitting down with me and talking with me today.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Mr. Bobby, just so for our listeners, and we're going to get started on your story here, but you arguably own the most famous race car in this area that has won more features than any other race car in this area in the last 20 years, I would say. So for our listeners that don't know, Mr. Bobby Pittman owns the blue and yellow number 12 vintage car that Ricky Haugen drives today. Chris Bayhigh drove it prior to that, but Ricky, you've been in the car since what, 2018?
Yes, sir.
2018. So y'all have had a lot of success with that old car.
Right. It's been very good.
Yeah.
Very good. With both drivers.
Oh yeah. Yeah. So, well, I want to kind of talk about your story, Mr. Bobby, and I want to know how you got into motorsports, but I want you to take me back to growing up in this area when you were a little boy. Tell me your story and how it all got started.
Okay, I was born in Milton in 1938.
Mm-hmm.
We moved to Pensacola in 1942.
Right in the middle of World War II.
Right after the war started. And like I've told you, I remember so much about World War II, and I can't tell you a whole lot about it, but I remember the things that went on, like the Big Bend era, the naval bases here in town. I was raised in Brownville, one of the meanest neighborhoods. I mean, people swore by Brownville, I tell you. But it was a good time, and really everybody should have been a teenager in their 50s.
Right. What was it? Tell me what it was like growing up in the 50s.
Hey, we didn't have anything, really. And where we lived, I lived with, there were 7 of us kids, 6 of us still at home. The eldest brother had gone in the Air Force. And the 6 of us and mom and dad, I was raised in a 24 by 24.
Holy cow.
Yeah. We didn't know we were poor.
Right.
I mean, we thought everybody lived that way, you know. And but I started school in 1944 over in Brentwood.
Yes,
Brentwood Elementary, and I made it to the first time through the 4th grade, and that's when we moved down in Brownsville, and I started going to a CAY school in the 4th grade again.
Yes, sir.
And that school went to the 6th grade, and then we went to the junior high in the 7th grade, 7th, 8th, and 9th grade. And that's when I told you I had to do the 8th grade 2 times.
Yes, sir.
So when I got halfway through the 9th grade, I said, well, if I get to that 12th grade, I'm going to have to do it 2 times. So I quit right in the middle of the 9th grade.
Right. Yes,
You know,
sir.
that was really good thinking. And but my wife lived. Well, she come from Oregon.
Yes, sir.
In 1955, and we started dating in 1957. But she lived up the street from me, and she told me she'd sit and wait. I had a 48 Plymouth. She said, I'd wait to see that little green car come down that road, you know. So I didn't know anything about it.
Right.
And I happened to be a little over 4 years older than her.
Right.
And but we got married in 1959. But my time in Brownville, myself, Billy Penton, Jimmy Welch, Pete Noble, and John and Grant. My dad had to get us out of jail. The preacher had, Jimmy Welch was a preacher's son, so had to get him out of jail.
Yeah.
So, but we got into quite a lot of stuff. Brownville was a town just like Pensacola, downtown Pensacola.
It was like its own community.
Oh yeah, they had 2 movie houses. They had clothing stores, shoe stores, everything, just like Pensacola. And when you come out of the city limits, when you got to Pace Boulevard, which was O Street, it become county. Well, from there on through Brownville, it was a 2-lane road, and they parked on the street. So when Pensacola someway got Brownville, they moved it to W Street, and they made it 4-lane, and the people didn't have anywhere to park, so it killed Brownville.
Oh, man.
There was movie houses, I'm like clothing stores, restaurants. I mean, it was a city, really.
Right.
And but when the city of Pensacola got into it, they basically shut it down because there was a lot of competition there. And drive-in theaters, we would sneak in those, you know.
Oh, yeah.
One to drive in to be 4 or 5 in the trunk of the car. Yeah. And but the 5 of us, I'm the only one left out of the 5 of us, and we had you wouldn't believe some of the stuff we got into. I mean, it was a lot of the 50s was just a good time. It really was. We didn't have wars. Korea was over, and you didn't have wars. If somebody was smoking pot, they didn't have any friends. I mean, they were out of it. And Billy Penton, you would have to know that guy. He owned Penton's Trim Shop.
Yeah.
And me and him, we met in 1947, and we were just like brothers. But he would tell stuff to embarrass you when it would embarrass him, just to get a laugh out of you. Right. the guy was a trip, but one of the best friends I ever had, Billy Pittman, and we were in competition later on.
Right.
And but in 1959, I went to work in the lumber business, and I worked with that about a year, and then Meredith Lumber in Inslee bought the place where I was working, so I went to work with Frank Meredith in 1960, and I was with him for 4 years, $50 a week, 55 hours.
Holy
That was
cow.
a week. But if you took off, he docked you for it.
Dang.
And there was no overtime.
Right.
That was 55 hours.
Straight pay.
And that's me and my wife, we got married in 1959. And I was making $50 a week. She was making $20. So it was a good time.
Yeah.
And
Things were a lot cheaper back then too, though.
oh yeah. You could load a buggy down in a grocery store for $10. I mean, just piled up.
Holy
I'm
cow.
not kidding you.
Yeah.
And there was a big grocery store on T Street, the Pleasing. And most of us boys coming up, back then, we would go down there and bag groceries. Now, we didn't work for the grocery store, but we would bag the people's groceries and take them out to the car, and they might give you a dime or a quarter, you know. Sometimes I work on Saturday, I made $15.
Dang.
That was a lot of money.
Yeah.
You know, so, but coming up to when me and Blanche got married,
Yeah.
like I say, we were making that, and we lived in a 12 by 16. Actually, my bedroom bigger than what I lived in when we got married.
No doubt.
And but when my eldest daughter was born, when Kim was born, I traded that house, we would say 2 doors down, for a house that was 600 square feet.
That's
a two-bedroom.
That's a big upgrade.
Oh, you telling me?
Yeah.
And but we moved down there in 1962.
Was that still in Brownsville?
No,
Oh.
no, I was in Bellevue.
Okay, so you moved up to Bellevue. Okay.
And but we lived in the meantime in 1973. I had been working in the lumber business for about 13 years.
Yes, sir.
Off and on. I worked at Armstrong World Industries down there for 2 years, and I said, "No, it's got to be better than this." You know, that shift work.
Yes, sir.
So I went back to the lumber company and stayed there for 5 years. And I decided I thought I'd go into detail business, cleaning cars. And a friend of mine that was in church with me, let me back up. In 1960 or 61, Skip Wetson bought the Five Flag Speedway.
Yes, sir.
And that's when I was in the lumber business. And like I say, I sold him the block to build the concrete bleachers.
That are still there today.
They're there.
Yeah.
And they've been there since about 1961 or 62.
Holy cow.
And they run cars like our vintage cars, but they were full body original cars.
Right.
And Jake Hatcher drove for can't think of his name, but Lenny Boyette.
Yeah.
In fact, some of his kin owns that Boyette
Yeah.
thing.
Mm-hmm.
Anyhow, Lenny, he drove for Mason Brake, which Mason was a big Ford man.
Mm-hmm.
And they would, when we had a big race, they would bring a car in here for Jake Hatcher to drive. They called it the Cornmeal Special. They come out of Birmingham from either Red Farmer or Bobby and Donnie Allison.
Holy cow.
And they would come down here, probably 1964. They brought the first super modified down there. And then they started coming in. Back then, the track paid towing money. Right. They'd pay them to bring them from Mississippi and Louisiana, and they come in here. Well, we called them skeeters. Yes, sir. And that's when the skeeters started in Pensacola out there. And Bob and Donnie Allison, Red Farmer.
Wayne Niedecken had one, I think.
Wayne was one of the first ones here.
Yeah.
Didn't he move here from Texas to race at Five Flags?
Yeah, I think
that
he
was
did.
like his livelihood.
Yeah, I think he did. We're going to have Junior Niedecken on pretty quick. I'm going to ask him about that. But yeah, I think you're right. Are you looking to transform your property? Do you need a pool removed, land cleared, or expert grading for your next big project? Look no further than More Site Solutions. One thing that makes More Site Solutions different than other companies, when you call, you're not just getting a business, you're getting Jake. That's right, the owner. Jake personally answers your phone call, shows up for every estimate, and never leaves you hanging. No ghosting, no excuses, just honest, reliable service from start to finish. And if you're the DIY type, they have you covered too. More Site Solutions can supply the materials you need to get the job done right. So whether it's a big project or a small one, More Site Solutions is ready to make it happen. Give Jake a call today at 850-332-2827, and let's get to work.
Yeah, and but Wayne was there, Sonny Black. There's quite a number of those guys in there. But Jake Hatcher, he drove that cornmeal. Jaybird Helton. Jake drove for him when I first started going out there. Yes, sir. And he was the mechanic on the car that Jake drove. But then Jake, when they brought the skeeters in there, Jake started with Jack Tanner. And the first skeeter that Jack built, he took a 50 Chevrolet truck cab and cut the middle out of it and pulled it in about like y'all's belly pan and seat in your car now. Right. He pulled that thing in, they sat right in the middle of it. Drive shaft went right under them.
Right between your legs.
They had the wings on it, running fuel injection, the whole bit. There was no wall at Five Flags Speedway.
Oh, man, them things were death traps.
None at all, son. And those guys would, when they leave the track, and you'd see the pine trees shake out there sometimes.
There was a bunch of them that got killed.
But mostly in the full body cars.
Yeah.
In a few minutes, you'd see them drive back up on the track. You know? But the night or the Sunday afternoon that Jake had the bad wreck. I mean, it was bad. 1965. And Jack Tanner, I was bumming around with him, and he was showing me a good bit about automobiles and about engines. And but Jake won the race in Mobile on Saturday night, and he told Jack, said, my helmet is pulling up on me.
Yes, sir.
The air. And from what I understand, he packed the helmet full of foam and pulled it down and pulled a choke strap on him. And Joe Straley told me, said when Jake passed him on the back straightaway, that looked like he was looking in the belly pan of the car, and he went straight off number 3 turn. He went 156 feet before he hit the ground.
Oh, my gosh.
And the car just end over end out through there, but Jake didn't make it. And but Jack Tanner, in 1968, that's when my life changed.
Yes, sir.
I used to take my daughter to my mom's, and Mama would take her to Sunday school, First Pentecostal Church. Well, that Sunday morning, August the 1st, 1968, I took her to Mom. Mama wasn't home. And I told Kim, I said, well, we'll go back to the house. She said, no, I want to go to Sunday school. So I said, well, I'll go back home, change clothes, and go. So I went. And that Sunday morning, a Reverend George Glass started a revival. This is August 1st. And I went in there that Sunday morning. The guy preached. Lord didn't deal with me anything, but the man It was just like he opened things that I had read in the Bible that I didn't understand. What he preached on, it was just like you opened up a new world to me. So Sunday night I went back. Lord still didn't bother me.
Right.
Monday night I went back. Tuesday I went back. Wednesday I went off and got drunk. But then Thursday night I couldn't. I had to go back. That man preached 28 nights, no rest nights. He preached the whole month of August of 1968
Oh, wow.
in that revival, and there was 101 people come in there.
Oh, wow.
And most of them were families. And that's when that church really started growing. But that man, the Thursday night I went back, that's when God caught me.
Started dealing with your heart.
And that's when I said, I've got to quit the racetrack.
Mm-hmm.
And I quit in 1968. That's the first year they had the snowball.
Yes, sir. Yep.
I never went to one until about 10 years ago.
Really?
I didn't.
Yep.
I stayed away from it.
Right.
But I would be there on Friday night, Mobile Saturday night, and wherever they was running Sunday. And I got away from it, and I didn't even know they had a Southern Raceway out there.
Really?
Yeah, but let me go back. Me and my wife, we got 2 daughters.
Yes, sir.
And I, in the church there, I saw an old school bus. It was set up at Waterfront Missions, and the engine had been on fire. I told the preacher, I said, if you buy that bus, I'll put a carburetor and wires and distributor on it. I said, I'll drive it out of here.
Right. Yes, sir.
So he did, and I went over to Max Auto Parts, and he gave me everything I needed. I put that thing together and cranked it up and drove it off. The guy about fell out, man.
No doubt.
But I started with a school bus, and we got a camp in Ocala, and they have camp meetings down there. But the kids went down there, and I would take a whole load in that school bus. It'd take me all day to go to Ocala.
Yes, sir.
And
was it kind of like a youth camp?
Yeah,
okay.
That's what it was. Yeah, they still do it.
Do they?
Yeah, but I would drive them down there. I'm gonna have to back up. 1973. Of course, I'd been in the church since 68.
Yes, sir.
And 1973, when I thought I'd go into the detail business, Glenn McQuaig, which was Sunday school superintendent, owned Johnson's Trim Shop.
Okay.
And his brother-in-law had bought the trim shop. Mr. Garrett owned it. And when Curtis Johnson bought it in 1950, changed it to Johnson's Trim Shop.
Right.
Well, Glenn McQuaig, I think it was about 1954, Glenn bought the shop from Curtis. So he left it Johnson's Trim Shop. And when I told Glenn I was thinking about getting in the detail business, I went and borrowed $7,500. And he said, why don't you buy my trim shop? I said, I'm doing furniture and I'm ready to get out. You know. So I asked him what he'd take for it, and he told me. So I gave him $5,000 down, left me $2,500.
Holy cow.
2 weeks later, I was broke, man. But I brought another trimmer in there. Ronnie Harper had been with Glenn since Glenn bought the track. So I got a guy named Buddy Kelly, and he had been with Glenn, but he had gone to work with Billy Penton, which owned Penton's Trim. So,
yes, sir.
I got Buddy back over there, and I raised them. At the time, they were making $100 a week, and this is 1973, and that's when I started off. And like I say, 2 weeks later, I was broke, and I couldn't get a bank to loan me any money. My home was paid for, so I put in for a home equity loan. but I would borrow $600 from a finance company, and I'd pay it back, go back, borrow 600 more, I pay it back, and that's how I got that thing back on its feet. And my wife worked at Monsanto, and she started out there when I think she was 19. She started out there. She worked there for 13 years, but after we bought the trim shop, Lance worked out there a year. I told her, I said, if he gets to where to pay the bills, you come out there. So she come out there and went to work with me down there every day. And I put a detail shop in with the trim shop.
Yes, sir.
And my son-in-law now, he come in there, he was hunting a job. He was, I think, 16 or 17 years. He was in high school. And I put him to work buffing cars in the detail shop. And he would work from about 2:30 in the afternoon to 5:30 because he was still in school. So he left here and went to Arizona, but then he moved back and he graduated out of school. He come back to work with me. And when I sold the detail shop, I mean, that part of it, I moved it, put it together, and just sold it. I never opened it. And what the trim shop and the detail shop had been making, the trim shop made it was the same thing, the trim shop. But I would work like everything and get the trim shop up, and the detail shop would go down. I'd work like everything and get that up. But my wife was with me every day in all this operation. And but we had the two daughters, and back when we first got married, most of the time I was on an 18-wheeler hauling lumber. And but when we moved in the other house there, it was something else to go in 600 square feet, when I got out of 192 square feet. Right. But my two daughters and Blanche, she worked with me, which is very hard for a man and a wife to.
So I was about to ask you about that. So when you opened the trim shop and you did all that, how did you learn how to do that? How did you learn how to reupholster cars? Tell me about that learning process.
I had to learn in a hurry. The trim shop, we were doing work. Most of it was dealer work, and most of them just patchwork, But I had a glass business with it. Windshields, door glass, and all that. And for years, that glass business carried that shop because most of the major dealers in Pensacola, I done their glass work, body shop, service department, the whole bit. And back then, you could make good money on glass work. And I would say it carried it for a number of years. And guys started coming in, and they would almost give them the glass just for the labor on it.
Right.
And so I just parked my truck. I wasn't going, hey, if you're going to the poorhouse,
right,
don't go tired.
Right. Right.
That's a good one.
That is a good one.
Don't get out there and work for nothing.
Right. Yes, sir.
But Tom, my son-in-law, come in there when I sold that detail shop. He won't know. He said, "Can I learn that trim work?" I said, "Yeah, I'll give you a shot at it." He's made one of the best trimmers.
Oh man, y'all do beautiful work.
This part of the country, and put on a convertible top that looked like it come out of the factory.
Yeah.
And I've seen him put on 3 convertible tops from lunchtime to 5 o'clock in those Chrysler LeBarons.
Oh yeah.
Hey,
Yeah, those
the
things.
boy figured out how to get in that thing, but take them off, put them back on. I've seen him do 3 of them in the afternoon.
So did you have to learn how to sew and do all?
Oh yeah.
So who
Just-
taught you?
Let me tell you, those boys, when I got in there, if I messed up, they'd laugh about it. So I sat down in the middle of the floor. Y'all come in here. And I had the detail boys and the trimmers. I sat down in the middle of the floor and got me a piece of material, cut it up 1-inch squares. I said, that belongs to me right there. And I said, if y'all want a job, you keep a job, you tell me what I'm doing wrong. Other than that, I said, I got a place I can go right back to work. I said, I don't have to stay here, you know. And from that day on, if I messed up, they'd tell me what I was doing wrong. And but basically, most of what I done was installing windshields and door glasses and putting on vinyl tops. Back then, vinyl tops, that was a big deal. And but Tom, he'll tackle anything. He works on. He'll take a moon roof, take all the cables and all the slides and all that stuff out. I wouldn't touch one.
Oh, I wouldn't either.
But in years, he runs the shop. He's run it for years. I just go down there and work.
Are you still working a little bit?
Oh yeah, I work every day.
Oh, every day.
Yeah.
Every day.
They do 4 10s.
Yeah.
Yep.
We cut back. We're doing 4 days a week, but in the last 2 hours about to kill me.
Yeah.
And
that's awesome.
But he runs the shop. I don't deal with any customers other than water leaks in these old cars. In any shop or dealer you call in town, they say, take it to Bobby to fix a water leak. I get them from all over the place. They just don't know what they're looking for. But I've been at it 52 years.
Yeah.
And
y'all do beautiful work. Y'all did the seats on my boat out there in the driveway a couple years ago. Mr. Tom did. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, hey.
They turned out beautiful. Y'all did a great job.
Well, see, most of what I do now, I tear down. They bring boat seats and things in there and golf cart seats that the board is rotten. I have to figure out what it looked like and cut boards and all this stuff. And, but I do that. And Tom, I learned one thing. You want to be a success real good? Hire somebody smarter than you are.
Man, it's amazing how many successful business people say that very same thing.
Hey, Bill Gates didn't get where he did by himself.
Right.
Somebody smart,
Right.
And like Ross Perot.
Yeah.
I mean, the guy, he wasn't no dummy, but he didn't do it all by himself. Right. And I realized I ain't done all it by myself. Tom is hey man, the Lord sent him to me. Right. And but him and Kim got married. I got 4 grandchildren. I got, I'll tell them, 6 great grandchildren. We're raising a great granddaughter, me and my wife. And that's pretty well up to where we're at now. But in getting in that business, I just took a chance. And
leap of faith.
I asked Glenn later on, I said, man, what'd you sell me that thing for? He said, I figured you could do it.
Yeah.
But I didn't know anything about it. Nothing.
Well, I mean, that's how you get good at something. You just take a leap of faith and let go and let God,
Hey, race fans. Are you a small business looking to connect with passionate locals across our area? Then this is your chance. At the Short Track Shakedown, we're all about the legends of local racing. Every week, we bring on drivers, track owners, and fans who have helped shape our rich racing history. And guess what? Our listeners aren't just fans. They're loyal locals who love supporting businesses that support their passion. When you advertise with us, you're not just buying an ad. You're fueling a homegrown show built by and for the racing community. Your support helps us grow the podcast and keep bringing fans the stories they love. So if you want to reach a tight-knit, racing-loving community that lives right here in your backyard, let's talk. Email us today at theshorttrackshakedown@gmail.com and get your business in front of folks who live for the weekend at the racetrack.
52 years of it. And but now Tom and Kim, of course, I worked Tom into part of it there. He owned part of it. So, but he stuck with me. And I've got a girl there, come there when she was 17. She's 67.
Oh, wow.
She's still
Wow.
with us.
Wow.
That's
Been
awesome.
there a while.
Yeah.
And but I hope I about got her raised. you
Yeah.
know. But every dealer in town, at one time, I worked for just about every dealer in Pensacola.
Wow.
The only one I didn't do a whole lot for, in which I done some, was Astro Lincoln. I never done a whole lot for them, but I did. I have worked on stuff, and but all the other major dealers, I done work for every one of them, in body shops all over Pensacola. But when they started giving the glass away, I just and the trim shop picked up everything. I mean, it's good. But now dealers are trying to do everything in house.
Right. Versus
And
subbing it out.
Most of us now is private work, and I mean it's good. It's very good. But me and Blanche, we've been married 66 years.
Wow. Well, so tell me something. All right. At 66 years of marriage, tell me what the secret to a long, happy marriage is.
Hey, well, some of them wasn't too happy. You know? But no, I tell just anybody, God first, love one another, and be willing to forgive. Hey, if you can forgive, you get over anything. I don't care what it is. You can do it. But that right there, and you can't have but one head in a house.
Yes, I agree with that.
Our elder pastor years ago said anything with two heads is a freak. So, you know, but Blanche, I mean, we argue and all this, but when it boiled down to it, whatever I done, whether it was right or wrong,
Right.
that's where it stayed.
Yes, sir.
There wasn't no two ways about it.
Right.
And that right there, if you know you're gonna butt heads, but listen, God's been good to me.
Yes, sir.
Very, very good.
Yeah.
And I've had a very good life. And that race car, in 2004,
Yes, sir.
I bought that first vintage car from Sonny Hardy, and my brother was in it
Mr.
with
Wooten?
him.
Yeah.
And my brother was with me for the first year. And I told him, I said, if it runs, it's going to run up front, or I ain't going to keep it.
Right.
And from 1968 till 2004, I didn't touch a race car.
Really?
I didn't even know Southern Racetrack was out there until about 1998.
Wow.
I didn't.
So when you quit in 68, like you quit totally.
I quit.
Cold turkey.
Absolutely. Just quit. And, but I bought that. I told Blanche, I started drawing my Social Security. So I started to build a race car. You
Right.
know? And, but I don't let it interfere with church. Absolutely not. I know where mine comes from. And
that's important.
You got that right.
That's very important.
It's been very good. And, but Tom has helped. Hey, you wouldn't know. You wouldn't know. But like I say, you got to hire people and pay them right.
Mm-hmm.
You pay them right, they'll stay with you.
Right.
No, but there's so many of them, they don't want to do that.
Right.
No, and but I'm like the preacher said, never seen a hearse pulling a U-Haul.
You can't take it with you.
No, sir.
So speaking of that, so when you got in, what brought you back to racing in 2004? What made you want to go back and
I got to look at those cars. And my brother, Billy, got me to going out there.
Yes, sir.
He said, "Why don't you come go to race?" I said, "Where at?" He said, "Over here in Milton." I didn't even know, and I've been here many years. And what was that guy, the first guy that had that shop?
Barney. Come up, Barney?
Barney. Barney.
Yes, sir.
And I never knew the man. The Arnolds had it when I started out there.
Right.
And I don't know. I like that vintage car. I said, well, I think I used to fool with them, but I got Steve Duffy to build me 2 engines.
Yes, sir.
Old Steve.
And that was from the intake to the pan.
Yes, sir.
And they were pretty expensive, but the second one he built, I blew it up. And I'm not going to tell that about Steve, because when I took the stuff to the machine shop, it was bored 40 over. It had 540s and 330s in it.
Oh, yeah, that ain't gonna live.
I blew it up pretty good. So,
yeah.
So I told Chris was driving for me. I said, I used to build a few engines. And I said, I'm gonna build one.
Yep.
So I hadn't seen or heard from Jack Tanner. He left here in '69. Yeah. And I knew he was going to out there where you gamble.
Biloxi?
No, Vegas.
Oh, Vegas.
No, Las
Okay.
Vegas. He went to Las Vegas. And I was going to build an engine, and I told him, I got my grandson here, and I said, how about I get on the computer and see if you can find Jack Tanner? Now, I hadn't spoke to him or seen him since '69.
Wow.
And this was about 2005 or 6. And he got on the computer and couldn't find him in Las Vegas. So I said, well, back up to Arizona. So he found him in a little bit of town called Concho, Arizona. So I got the phone number on it, and I called him. And like I say, I hadn't seen him or talked to him since I quit racing.
Right.
And I told him what I was doing, and he said, well, now let me tell you. Oh, he could cuss, man.
Yeah.
Man, let me tell you.
Yeah.
But Jack told me, he said, told me what to do, what block, said, and he wanted me to run double hump head, which that's what I run even when he started running for me. And
you were the king of the double hump head motors.
Hey, I'm gonna tell you what.
They won a lot of races.
They
won a lot.
I ain't kidding.
Yeah.
Guy walked by me one night. In fact, it was when Ricky just started driving for me.
Yeah.
You run them old double hump heads? I said, yeah. It's you ought to run Vortex. I said, you ain't beat them double humps yet.
That's a fact.
Yeah. And but Jack, if I had a problem with the engine, I built an engine, and when I started to prime it, couldn't give it 10-pound oil pressure. So I called Craig Howell was doing my machine work. I called him. He said, you got the bearings in it wrong. I said, no, I ain't. And I even put it in the car.
Right.
I said, I'll crank it up. I said, no, I ain't going to do that.
Don't do that.
So I walked in the house and told Blanche, I said, I'm going to have to tear that engine down. And I said, they ain't got but 10 pounds of oil pressure. She said, go in there and call Jack. So I called Jack. He said, it's your oil pump. I said, Jack, it's everything is high volume, all this stuff. He said, yeah, he cussed. He said, it's your oil pump. They told me, go out there and pull the pan off and check your pump. I pulled that pan off. When I reached up there and grabbed that oil pump, it wiggled.
Oh, it wasn't tight.
Yeah. I torqued.
Oh,
but luck would have it. The
bolt was too long.
Right.
Oh,
but
it went into
main
the bearing.
It didn't go in the. No, it was sealed.
Okay. All right.
But when I upside down, I torqued that thing. When I rolled it over, it dropped.
Yep.
So, I mean, the bolt was just too long. It was about that much too long.
Holy cow.
It opened up. So I went there. Now I measure what I'm doing.
Right. Yeah.
But I went there and got me a bolt and put on it, 80-pound oil pressure. I couldn't believe it. But, yeah, I mean, just get your oil. Oh, he was a trip, son. One night I was blowing, looked like I was burning propane. Blew flame out that exhaust like that.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah, the old headers. Yeah, all of them did it. Yeah.
Well, I got home. I was upset about it, man. I was worried about it. I went there and called Jack. I told him, I said, man, it looks like it's burning propane. He said, you got to crack the header. I went out there, pulled the header off, and in the bottom of it, cracked about 4 inches long.
Holy cow.
I mean, the
He
dude,
knew his stuff.
He just knew his stuff.
He knew, hey, that cat could build an engine. When he was out there, Jack passed away, I think it was 82. But when he was probably about 77, 78, he was running 2 IMCAs and a modified. And that modified he was running was 850 horse. So,
wow.
Hey, son.
Yeah.
That dude could build an engine, let me tell you. But in his old shop, back when those skeeters first started,
yes, sir,
he would write on the wall what he done sometimes. Yeah.
Dang.
And if you ever walked in there with your beer, he just cover everything up. We sat there and drank beer. Right. So, but I got saved from that. Right. Yeah, I mean, I stopped it all of it. Smoking, drinking, cussing. The only time I've cussed, and if you ever hear me cuss, I'm mad.
Oh yeah.
But I don't make it a habit. I'm pretty hard to get mad. The Lord has whipped me about a lot of things. When I didn't do something right, hey, when you've been whipped by the Lord, you've been whipped.
Yeah, yeah. And, that's worse than having a monkey on your back.
Hey, but life's been good. I've enjoyed life. I still enjoy life. And
you look good. I mean, you're getting around. You're 87, right? 87?
I'll turn 87,
87.
October 30th.
Man, are you still building the engines that y'all are running today?
Yeah.
No doubt.
That's awesome.
Transmissions?
The good part about Ricky now, he started with me in 2018. He said, I want Vortec heads. So I built one Vortec heads, I had a brand new one sitting there with double humps on it. And, but he'd been driving for me a good while. And, but the first night he drove for me, I had built a new car. Chris cut my car half in two in 2014.
Yep.
And we put it out. He put it out behind Craig Cross's shop. It sat there for 2 years. And I went over and got it. I decided, I said, well, I'm gonna fix it. So I got it, took it up to Jerry Marcus. And I got a new frame, the whole frame. And we got to looking at it. I was going to rebuild
the original,
right. But the pipe was rusty and all that. So I got that frame. Jerry built me a new car. And that's the car that got Ricky. And I didn't have a driver. Chris had gone to work for Billy Robeson, and he had sold Billy a car, so he started driving for him. And so when I built this car, I didn't have a driver. And I called Ricky's uncle, Steve White.
Yeah.
I said, you reckon Ricky wants to drive my car? He said, I don't know. I said, well, I don't know whether I call. He told me to get Ricky to call him. I told Ricky, he told me to call me. And, but anyhow, Ricky called me. I said, you want to drive the car? I said, yeah, man, I'll drive it. So he met me in Baker the first night. And the car wasn't set up. I've never set up a car, never. And Ricky drove it. He told me, said, let me take it home and get it where it'll handle. So he took it home. It's been over there ever since. And but I would build it. Ricky's taking a load off of me, but he's also taking my muscle off of me. Hey, really?
Yeah.
I used to pick up that metric rear end with the rotors, everything on it, and slide it under the car.
Right.
And put it on. Well, Ricky, if I take him a chunk with the rear end set up,
right,
in that 9-inch, he puts it together.
Right.
I take him a transmission, he puts the transmission in.
Well, he's just trying to save you a little work.
Hey. And if my engine messed up, we run one of his engines.
Right.
But it's been that way, and that's how we've come up with some winning.
Yeah.
And he can drive a car.
Oh, yeah, yeah. He's been known to be at a racetrack once or twice.
Well, he can set up a car.
Right.
And the thing between him and Chris, he would weigh the car, have it set up and everything, take it out there, two laps, hot laps, come in and change every spring on it, jack and bolt, everything. And I didn't run front jack and bolts until Ricky started driving for me.
Yeah, so your original car, the original 12, the blue 12, that thing was it won a lot of races, but that thing wasn't much to look at.
It was a rag. Let me tell you.
One of your cars, if the competitors knew what was beating them, they'd be embarrassed.
Oh, no, for real.
Hey.
So it had pedals out of a 68 Chevrolet pickup truck. Like, it, for real.
Hey.
Well, the clutch pedal that's in the car is still that we run a Z-Link, like a Chevrolet truck clutch. People still look at that and they're amazed by it.
Today?
Today. Oh, yeah. Hey, son, don't mess with my clutch. Don't give me a hydraulic.
I love it.
Hey.
The beauty of that is he is the only one that can adjust it. And I've put pictures on Facebook of this where he crawls under it to adjust it. So I don't know how to do that stuff because it's an old style.
Yeah, it's got the old fork in there.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, the whole bit.
And but when he sets it, it's perfect. You don't ever have to worry about you not having a pedal or the slave cylinder blowing out or the hydraulic.
I mean, the worst thing that could happen is a spring break.
Yes. I mean, it's pretty much
you can take your toe and pull it back up. You know?
That's true. Yeah, with mechanical link.
Yeah.
In learning things about mechanic work, when I worked with Meredith Lumber back in 1960, he would buy trucks from Lewis Bear Company. Back then, Lewis Bear was in the hardware business, and he delivered a lot of stuff. But Mr. Meredith would buy those trucks, and they were wore out. And that's where I learned a lot of my mechanic work because I go out there and work on those old trucks for him. And but that's clutch steel. That's where I learned a lot about clutches, and I never could figure out how a clutch worked. I mean, for years,
right?
And I would put them in, adjust them, but I'm not book learned, but I got an education,
right? Yeah, absolutely.
but I couldn't figure out how in the world with that thing turning, how does it stop long enough to put it in gear? You know, and I finally it got to me that it had a disc in there,
right?
You know?
Right.
But really, Frank Meredith really got me started in doing mechanic work.
Okay.
And but I would work on those trucks, stay up there to midnight, sometimes changing a transmission or something, and those things. But I never got any overtime.
Dang. Man, they took advantage of y'all back in the day.
Well, it wasn't too much. We were just glad to have a job, really, because wages wasn't all that high, and but Mr. Meredith, he treated me right, and good friend, but when I left him, I went to work with Stringfellow Lumber, which the home office in Birmingham, and that's in school. I couldn't do fractions. Man, I was a dummy. But in doing the lumber business, I learned fractions. You never sold stuff by the piece. You sold it by the board foot. And that's where I learned fractions on that thing. And but in taking a chance, the Lord brought me a long ways. But back when I was driving those buses, I kept getting a better bus. Of course, the church paid for the bus, but I done all the maintenance on it, and I never had one pulled in, never. And I done that for about 32 years.
Yes, sir. Making that same trip back to Ocala and back and forth? 4
weekends a year. I had 4 camps. I'd take them down there Sunday morning. I'd come back. I'd work. I'd leave here Friday night after work, go down Saturday and pick them up, bring them back, and turn around Sunday and take another group back. And then I'd rent a car and come back. And when it come Friday, I'd get the car. I'd go back to Ocala and get my bus and come back. And then Sunday, I'd turn around and go back again. But off and on, I'd done that. Some years they'd have 3 camps. But I'd been doing it about 30 years. I took the choir down to Ocala one Friday night, and I was locking my bus up, and Abe Welch, which the elder pastor's son, me and the Welches, we can't figure out when we didn't know one another. You know, I mean, but Abe walked up and he said, "You've been doing this a long time." I said, "Yeah, I have." He said, "I seen it pay off tonight." I said, "How you figure that?" He said, "I saw both those girls in that choir."
I'm telling you, the Lord works, Mr. Bobby. I mean, you're an inspiration to me. I'll be honest with you. I've known you my whole racing career, and I've always looked up to you. Always. Like you're a good man. And I thank you so much for sitting down with me and talking to me today.
Winter is over. Racing season is in full bloom, and hurricane season is only weeks away. Don't wait till Jim Cantori shows up on Pensacola Beach to make sure that your house is hurricane ready. You need to give Window World of Pensacola a call. We specialize in impact and non-impact rated windows, but our impact line is what you need for the upcoming hurricane season. Give us a call today at 850-484-9998 or come by the office at 10108 North Palafox Street.
I've had guys come up and threaten me out there to the track.
Yeah.
Chris would get me in it.
Right. Yes,
he'd mess up and then wouldn't come over there and race cane with me.
Right.
And I told one of the guys one night out there, I said, he come over there, just at raising cane. I said, "Man, you don't want to bother me." I said, "You'll have to fight 2/3 of this pit."
Oh, yeah. 100%.
That's
yes,
exactly
sir.
right.
Yes, sir.
And I was up in Flomaton one night, and Chris got into it with somebody, and some big guy come over there. Yeah, man, he was chewing me out. I mean, just like he was going to whip me. And a guy I'd never seen before or since walked up and got me in the chest. He pushed me back. He said, "Move back, Mr. Bobby. Let me handle this." I'd never seen him before or after. But that guy turned around and walked off.
I guarantee he did.
Hey, he done it, son.
I guarantee he did.
But I try to help everybody I can out there. Most of the time when I would go to the track, I'd have just about anything that needed to go on that car.
Yeah, you come prepared.
But I've loaned a whole bunch of stuff to people that had vintage cars or metric cars.
Right.
Come over there and borrow stuff off of me, and I let them have it.
Yeah.
And Lieben Mars, I don't know where he run a modified out there.
Yeah, I sold him that modified.
Okay, a blue one.
Yes, sir.
He run it. All right. Well, I didn't know Lieben from, or his brother.
Leb. Yeah, it was Leb Morse. The 15 car?
Yeah.
Yep.
I didn't know them. I knew they were there at the track. And his brother run a vintage car.
Mm-hmm.
But one night, this lady come to me. She said, Mr. Bobby, you got a 24-inch radiator. I said, I got one, but it's at home. And I said, what's the matter? She said, well, we messed the radiator up in the car, and it's 24-inch. So I called Blanche. I told her where that radiator was. She brought it to Milton, put it on the car. He didn't even miss the heat race.
Oh, man.
And that's how I got to know Lieberman, and his wife. But I tried to help him. And it works. It works. But like I say, they don't bother me out there at that track.
No, they ain't nobody going to mess with Mr. Bobby.
Not a bit.
So, Ricky, I got to ask, what is it like driving for Mr. Bobby?
He is a blessing. I mean, he really is. No, like I told you guys when I did my show, I've been very blessed to drive for some great car owners, family members, and he is, he's no different. I mean, he allows me to do what I need to do, and we just have conversations about what's going on, and he's just a blessing. Like I said, it's so ironic, and I get emotional about it sometimes when, and I know that you guys have all been through this, but when I lost Steve Barnes, that was my guy. That was my best friend in the world, and it was very devastating. And I didn't know if I was going to come back and race. So I had been out. I'd gotten a divorce and lost Steve. And I'm like, man, this is I didn't know what I was going to do. So when Bobby calls, and asked me to drive his car, and I go up and start doing, and I thought about it. I mean, I wasn't sure that I wanted to come back, but I thought it would be good for me. And my girlfriend at the time, and she, so she said, hey, go give it a shot. If it doesn't work out, you don't have to drive for him anymore, but so when I went and did it, and there was mannerisms that him and Steve have that are the same. And it was like, he would look at me and he would say things, and his glasses would fall down on the bridge of his nose, just like Steve. And I would really, there were times at the racetrack where I'd kind of start tearing up because I'd get emotional about it. So, like I said, it's just, he's been really good for me. He's been a blessing to me. And I've told him, if it wasn't for him, I would probably already have stopped racing. But I said, as long as you want to continue to do it and you enjoy it, he loves getting out and talking to people. He is the self-proclaimed mayor of Brownsville.
Oh, yeah.
So, a lot of people don't know that, but the people that have been around a while, they know it. So he is a blessing. That's for sure.
Y'all have certainly been the duo since 2018. Y'all have won some races now.
When you give a man something to do, let him do it.
Yeah.
Don't interfere with him. But I've learned that. If you give him a job, he knows his job. So they ain't that. And I've had the car tore up many times, but I've always loaded it up and just take it to the house. I don't go in your pit. Nope.
So I got to ask, since y'all have been together, you said before the show, y'all have won 77 features together since 2018?
77 features.
That's
impressive.
Strong. That's strong.
That first year he drove for me, we won 16, I think it was out of 24 features.
Holy cats. Yeah. That's strong. Yeah, that is strong.
And when I tell people, and a lot of times my posts that I do on Facebook are more for him to maintain his, reputation and for him to get his glory from it. Because a lot of times people don't understand the people behind the scenes. So if you have someone that is doing, and I always try to brag on him about that, you're still at 86 years old, building the engines, the transmissions, the rear end gears. That is really something to be proud of.
Oh, absolutely it is.
And the fact that people constantly, I'll have people message me, hey man, I'm looking for a Saginaw.
Yeah.
And I send them his way. He still builds transmissions for customers.
Man, that's a good thing to know. I may need, are you building the Muncies too? Like the aluminum case Saginaw?
He can do them all.
I may need to get with you. We broke one a couple weeks ago.
I don't build any 4-speeds. I strictly stick with 3-speed Saginaws.
Okay. All right. Well,
he can do them. Yeah. He can do them.
But I do get all, other than the gears, I get all new parts for them. Right. Bearings and whatever. And
That is a
good supply.
So I've only seen one of those built one time, and I was very young. But I remember the guy that was building it. It was Mr. Bill Green at Savers. But he had to take
another good one.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But he had to take the needle bearings and stick them on the shaft with grease and slide that cluster shaft. I mean,
Hey,
that's an art right there.
It's got 54 needle bearings on the cluster gear. Yeah. And you got to get them in there. And I've made me things that I go in. It's got a washer on the inside of it. But I just will get to the edge of it, and I get that shaft in there on the other washer, and most of the time I can get it in there the first shot. But I have pulled it out a half dozen times because I pushed the bearings out of it. But there's 54 of them in there, and you got to put them in that cluster gear and then slide that big old shaft through them.
I'm telling you, it's an art to it. I'd sit there and I'd beat my head against the wall trying to do that.
When I built the car, I needed a certain line transmission because we run a second gear.
Right, yeah, with the metric rear end.
Yeah. And I went to Bill up there at Savers Transmission.
Mm-hmm.
I told him what transmission I need. He said, Bobby, there's a whole bunch of them that are under that trailer out there. I said, get all of them you want. I got 18 transmissions from him.
Holy cow.
I sure did.
Yeah. You know, those things, if you build them right, they're bulletproof. I mean, they'll last a long time. The ears will break off on them before the gears tear up. Yeah.
They break those ears off of them because they don't put it in gear to try to put it in, and it won't go in, and they'll take a bolt, try to pull it in, they break the ears off it.
That's the
how
problem.
they break them.
So, hey, you is that the secret to them things, is to put them in gear when you're trying to put it in?
You better put it in gear. You won't get it in there because you gotta get it where you can turn that front input so to get into that clutch disc.
Well, shoot, maybe you just save somebody a transmission.
Well, the other thing that's not good about them either is running them. If you're running, don't run them. Let me back up. Run a mid plate because they're hanging. So we've talked about that. There's companies now that make a support bracket that bolts onto the mid plate and the back of the transmission to hold it. So that's kind of stressful on it too. So like we still run a cross member, back at the transmission mount. And I had talked to him. Yeah, I had talked to him about putting a mid plate because it's easier. And he's like, I don't like doing that because it stresses the transmission more as far as breaking it, So, but the first time that he brought me one, I'd ran the same Saginaw 3-speed forever. And the first time he brought me one that he had built, I was like, it had new shifter seals and all this stuff. Nothing leaked. And I'm like, it had a new vent. Yeah. Nothing leaked. And I'm like, man, this is the cat's meow right here. So you just, there's somebody and that's what I tell everybody when they call me and ask, and I'll tell them, look, man, he doesn't just take a transmission and sell you one. He's going to put all new bearings. He's going to put all new seals in it, and it's going to be like it came from the factory. And they shift better. I mean, just all that stuff makes a difference.
Because when them synchronizers, I've had one. A matter of fact, in our vintage car that I was driving for Mr. Crenshaw, that '83 car, the synchronizers in that thing got messed up one time, and we had. Matter of fact, I don't even know what happened to that transmission now that I said that, but we had to get another one because the synchronizers got tore out of it and everything else. But we should have brought it to Mr. Bobby.
He does a lot of them. Last night they were bringing them to him last night, so I mean it keeps him busy. So when I started taking care of the car and keeping the car up, my intent was I said, Miss Blanche will probably appreciate this because it'll get him in the house more, and then he's told me, he said, I don't do anything anymore now. He said, when I go home at night, I don't have to work on anything, but yeah. So I try to make it where when I show up at the racetrack late, like I always do, he's already been there and he's been able to socialize and take care of his mayorly business. So
that's awesome. That is too funny.
Ricky's taken a lot of work off of me, but for 10 years I done all of it. But it was fun, and that's the reason I live a long time. I stay busy.
Well, so that was my final question for you. Is at 87, you're still driving? You get around great. What is the key to living a long, successful life?
eating a lot of salt.
That's all he says.
Yeah, man. Hey, I'm a saltaholic.
Yeah.
And
you don't have blood pressure problems?
Yeah.
Oh, he says, yeah.
Take 2 pills a day. Yeah. But no, let me quote a scripture to you.
Okay, please.
The Bible says salt is good, but if the salt has lost his savor, it don't say, most of them quote it, said its savor. It's therefore no good. But God said, you are the salt of the earth. You might think I'm preaching to you, but not really.
No, please.
Well, when I saw that anybody that quotes that scripture, they say, but if the salt has lost its savor, I looked at it as table salt. And I read it. One day, I come to it, it said, but if the salt has lost his savor, it's therefore no good for nothing. Everywhere it says anything about salt
in the Bible,
it says his savor. It never says its. And what I got out of it, salt changes everything it touches, but nothing changes salt. Nothing.
Yeah.
Absolutely nothing.
Yes, sir.
He said, you are the salt of the earth. And to me, if I witness to somebody where they ever come to God or where they ever get right, if I witness, there's going to be a change in them somewhere.
Yeah.
Because salt, ye are the salt of the earth. Because salt changes everything it touches, nothing changes salt.
I remember that.
And that, but I tell people, the Bible says salt is good. But really, I salt everything.
Yeah. Well,
they make fun of me, but
yeah. Well,
hey, I salt Jello.
He's an inspiration.
He says I salt Jello.
He's an inspiration.
Hey, don't get me started. I'll tell you some stuff.
Well, when I was a kid, this is so much like talking to my granddaddy. It's crazy. But when we would sit at a table like this when I was a kid, we'd be eating watermelon. I've always loved watermelon. But my granddaddy put salt on his watermelon.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. I could never do that. I couldn't make myself do it. But Pop, that's all Pop want to do is put salt on his watermelon.
Hey, it'll make a puppy pull a freight train.
You don't put salt on your watermelon?
No.
Man.
I'm not kidding you.
Yeah.
But no, I eat anything I want. Anything. There's just, let me tell you, there's some things I purpose to do. I don't promise anybody anything because too many people say a promise is made to be broken. But if I purpose to do something and I don't do it, I ain't hurt nobody but myself. I ain't lied to you about promising you something. But 99 times out of 100 or 99.9, if you purpose to do something, you'll do it every time, over and over and over and over. You won't be promised to anybody. And like I say, if it hurts, you ain't hurt nobody but yourself. And that's the reason I won't promise to anybody anything. I'll purpose to do. And I've purposed to do some things that I've been doing for years, and I've never been to the place that I couldn't do it. Never.
Well, maybe that's the key to it.
No matter what it was, financial, it don't matter. But purpose to do something and do it over and over and over, and I still do it. And it works.
Yeah, I mean, I believe you. I got to believe you.
It really does. And like I say, I ain't preaching to you, but I'm telling you, things where I've come from. I've come a long way, son, from quitting school. And I don't know what I could have done if I got a book-learned education. I might have done better. And I might have been a drunk or whatever. And I was headed that way when I got in church. And but me and Blanche has toughed it out. So I tell you.
Well, she's a good woman, and
66 years, yes, sir.
Yeah, she's
Yes,
a good
sir.
woman, and Mr. Bobby, you're a good man. I mean, you really have. You've
well,
inspired me for 22 years. You've inspired me.
Well, I thank you.
You know,
I'm just glad I can help somebody or you know, whatever. The Lord has provided me with the means to help people.
Yes, sir.
And I'm a jokester. I'll tell jokes all the time. Hey, I got to tell you about going to a liar's contest.
All right, tell me about it.
My wife and I, they have a mule week up in Columbia, Tennessee, every year. It's in April, I think. We decided we'd go up there. So we went up on Wednesday. We went out. They use mules. They come in on wagon trains down the highway with mules. I saw some of the biggest mules I've ever seen in my life. And they work them, loading logs and all kind of stuff. But on Friday night, they said, we're going to have a liar's contest. So myself and Blanche, we went over there that night, and these guys were registering to tell lies. Well, I didn't register. I just went there. I was going to find out what was going on. We sat down there, and those guys got up and told a few lies, you know. At the end of the MC, he said, anybody else want to tell a lie? I said, yeah, I do.
So what lie did you tell?
I got up there. I said, a friend of mine lived in Chicago, and I said he passed away, and I had to go up there and be a pallbearer.
Right.
And I said, when I got there, the funeral home was in an old house and a real high steps going in the house. And I said, it was sleeting and snowing, ice everywhere. And I said, when us pallbearers started out that funeral home with that coffin, we got on the steps and slipped and fell down and dropped that coffin. I said, it slid down those steps, slid across the street, jumped the curb, went through the front door of a drugstore. I said, that coffin slid right up to that druggist down there and it bumped it. And I said, that dead man sat up and said, you got anything to stop this coffin?
That's funny.
Hey, I had him in the floor, son.
That's funny as heck.
But I told him a couple, but at the end of it,
that's funny.
And the MC said, man, you should have registered. You got all the money.
That is too good.
With the economy back on the rise and interest rates coming down, if you're looking for a new home in the Panhandle area, give Levada Burrows McIntyre a call with Century 21 BE3. She's been serving the Panhandle, helping buyers and sellers achieve all of their real estate needs. Give her a call at 850-554-2180 or find her on her website at levadasales.com.
But the Bible says, here's another one, a merry heart does good like a medicine.
Yes.
But a broken spirit dries the bone.
Yeah. Well, you're always upbeat. You got a smile on your face every time I see you.
Let me tell you. Let me take my medicine. Let me have a merry heart, take my medicine, and stay well. You see, you can see a person, it seems like they're always down and out, sickly. A lot of them don't have merry heart. They let troubles pile up on them. But if you, like I told you a while ago, if you can learn to forgive, you get over anything. I mean, I believe you can. And the Lord said, if you don't forgive, He won't forgive you. So, yeah. And but I've had a good life. I've enjoyed life. I still enjoy life.
I've enjoyed this. I've enjoyed this. I love hearing the stories and just talking.
My two girls, one, she's RN, she in the OR there in Baptist Hospital, but the youngest one is a lawyer. Bad as I don't like lawyers. Oh, I'm just kidding. But but she is the assistant attorney general up there with those Fort Creek Indians.
Oh, wow. I did not know that.
Yeah. She does good.
Yeah.
Very good. But I'm proud of my two girls.
Yeah.
And I've never had any trouble with them.
Well,
Never.
that's wonderful.
But I'm from the old school.
Right. Well, and that's, to be honest with you, the world needs more of the old school.
Let me tell you something. The Bible don't say to spare the rod, you spoil a child. Never says it. It said he that spares the rod hates the child. And that comes from the main man. But said if you beat a child with a rod, which you know better to do it. But said if you beat a child with a rod, you deliver his soul from hell.
Well, y'all, I said you don't want to slow down yet.
Well, I've already slowed down some. The worst thing is not being able to hear. Take care of your ears. Hey, that's one of the worst things. When you can hear somebody, but you can't tell what they're saying.
Yeah, and it's got to be frustrating for you.
It is.
Yeah,
it is.
It's got to be frustrating.
Very, very much. Our two pastors, I can understand them fine because they do talk in the mic. But a lot of people, if they're teaching, they'll hold a mic way down here, and you can't tell. Well, a lot of people can't tell what they're saying. So, but it's been good.
Yeah.
Man, I have enjoyed life.
Yeah.
I tell you what.
Well, y'all had some enjoyment last night. We'll talk about that as we end the
You
show.
got that right.
But tell me about that. Tell me about last night.
I told, that boy, Hunter Ward, he was all over us, but Ricky pull him down that straightaway. He'd pull him every time, And but I told him when he got through, I said I need some calming down pills. I told him I hadn't drank in 52 years. I think I'll go get me a beer.
I heard it was a pretty good race.
Yeah,
it was. Hey, it was. There's 15 cars started, but 4 cars fell out. There was 11 cars finished the race.
That's good.
And that's almost unheard of.
Yeah, for the vintage class, that was good.
You could have 20 and they end up with 6, so. But it was a Ricky put it on. It was good. So I'll tell you what, it was close.
That's pretty good because I know Hunter's been on fire lately.
He has. No, he has run good.
Hunter was all, of course, they got a tough car.
So I do got to ask the legend this, all right, because I have watched you race my whole life, all right, and I have a lot of respect for your craft. And you are a different type of driver. There's race car drivers and then there's craft drivers. And I feel like you are a student of your craft. And me and you talk quite a bit, about different things or whatever. But when you're in a high pressure situation like you were last night, or when you're racing, and I raced last night Deep South, there's a reason why I'm asking you this. But when you're in a high stress situation and that you may not have the best car, but you may be able to outdrive somebody that's next to you or whatever. How do you handle that pressure of going in knowing that? Or I guess my real question is how do you handle your high stress situations like that in order to get the most out of the car, but not step on it at the same time? Does that make sense?
Yeah, it's just, to me, it's all about knowing your limits. And what you can and can't do. And I've seen back when my Uncle Steve used to race, I would see him pressure people into making mistakes. And that was always a big part of his ability.
Psychological, yeah.
Absolutely. And I've seen Robbie Bailey do it, and I've seen Curtis Galbraith do it. And so when you race with those guys like I did, you can't make a mistake. So you know what your limits are. And a lot of times, especially to me, I always tell people leading is almost a bad thing in a race because the second place guy is trying different things.
He's figuring you out. Yeah.
Absolutely. And they can try different areas where you might not want to take that chance as a leader. But I think the biggest thing for me is just, it's just part of not letting it get in your head, and just staying focused on the task at hand,
So that's
Race the
always
track,
been
not the other drivers.
Yeah, that's always been the big thing to me. It's like I got to make this corner. It doesn't matter where he's going or what he's doing. I know if I make my corner and do my job, then it's not going to matter.
That's good advice. That's good advice. Well, guys, I thank y'all so much for being here today and sitting down. And Mr. Bobby, I thank you for telling me your story.
Yeah, but
we probably left a lot out, and there's probably a lot more to tell.
Some of it you need to leave out.
But I do. I certainly thank you. So, and Ricky, thank you for coming and being here today again. I can't thank you enough. I really can't.
Ricky's been good. He's been good. I told Steve last night when Hunter would dive under him on 3 and 4, Ricky'd start pulling. I said, Ricky decided he better put his foot in it tonight. It was a tremendous race, but he's done some good ones. Very good. We've done good. Very good.
We've been very good for each other.
Yeah.
This
is an awesome duo right here. It really is.
That's the main thing.
If you build everything and your driver does his and you run up front, it don't cost you near as much.
Yeah. That's a fact. Yeah.
No, it sure don't.
And you tear up a whole lot less stuff.
Hey. Yeah.
When you know you got to fix it, yeah.
Well, and if you're out front, you're very seldom going to get tore up.
Hey, that's right.
Yeah.
Until you run up on lap cars.
That's a fact.
Him or Chris. Lap car don't mean a thing.
Yeah.
I ain't backing out.
I'm going.
It don't matter where they're at. Just
we gonna go on to the house.
Yeah, I'm not kidding you, son. They ain't no backing out of it. I said, man, they're gonna tear that thing up, but they go through it. But it's Ricky's been very good, very good. Yeah.
I look forward to watching y'all race together for many years to come, Mr. Bobby. I think you got a lot of years left in you.
I've known his mom all her life, and Steve all his life. I was basically raised with his grandpa, Steve's dad.
Okay, all right.
And I've known the whole family. I never knew him until I was racing. Somebody said, "Well, here comes Ricky," but I never talked to him.
I'll be dang. I didn't know that.
Sure didn't.
We really didn't. I mean, until I started driving for him, we had only had a few conversations.
He didn't even like me.
That's true. It is true. Really? No, that's very true. Yeah.
Holy cow.
We had a run in back in the day whenever Chris drove for it.
Yeah.
So I mean that was one of the reasons. Like I said, I was kind of on the fence about driving for him the first time.
I'll be dang. I didn't know that.
Yeah, absolutely. And so but it was several people, Joe Richburg, Greg James, all of them, they were like, look, give the man a shot. It gets you back in the seat. And it was like, I knew just right away. Like I said, I was completely comfortable with him. We got along great. It's been it's been a blessing all the time I get to spend with him. When he came out, whenever I wrecked the car at Tri-County a few months ago, and he spent I'd call him, I'd be like, hey, I need you to come out and help me set the body off of it. And he was real good about, coming in and being able to do the stuff I needed help with. And he'd stay with me all day if on a Saturday, if that's what it took. So, we do it together.
Y'all did a good job getting that thing back together. You've won twice now since it's been back, right?
Yes, sir.
Wow.
What all did you have to fix on it?
Front clip, rear clip.
Okay, whole thing.
The center section of the car where you sit is the only thing that survived.
Wow.
Okay.
I mean, that was the decision to make. It's like, well, do we fix it? And I'm gonna go ahead and tell this story real quick.
Yeah,
Bobby wasn't there.
Oh wow!
So when I wrecked the car, I was actually that Saturday. I'm on my way to drive a 602 late model at Volusia, and so it's raining in Tallahassee. The car owner calls me. I'm driving down. We weren't racing that weekend, So Bobby had made other plans. And the car owner calls me. He says, hey, it's spotty down here. He lives 10 minutes from the racetrack. Don't know if we're going to make it or not. He said, I hate for you to drive all the way here and then have to turn around and drive 6 hours back. I said, it's okay, man. I understand. I say, no sense in taking a chance. So I flip around at Tallahassee and haul butt back to Pace. Yeah. So get the car loaded up, go to Tri-County. I called him. I called him on my way back. I said, hey, I'm coming back. Let's go to Tri-County tonight. He said, I'm just going to stay at home. He said, you go ahead. So I go up there and I flip the car. So the next day is Father's Day.
Right.
I did not want to call him on Father's Day and tell him because I wouldn't want to know, you know. So, I mean, I didn't sleep that night. I mean, I was just sick, just miserably sick. Because, I mean, we had a really, really good race car all season. And, I have trashed this car. So he calls me about 5:30. And I'm on my way to dinner with my mom and daughter. And he calls me and he says, hey, son, how'd we do last night? And I'm like, well, I said, so we were running good, and I said, and I got a little high off of 4 and got the right rear in the fence. And I said, and I flipped the car 5 times down the front straightaway, and I didn't know how he was going to react, you know. And the first thing he says, "Are you okay?" And I said, "Yes, sir." And he said, "That's all that matters." And he said, "We can fix the car." And I said, "Well, you come look at it, you know, and see what you think," because I just didn't know. I didn't know if what it was going to take to fix it. And so, but no, it was 100%. He came out and looked at it. I had everything taken apart, and he said, "Let's fix it." You know, so it was a lot of work, but it turned out really good. So it was a great experience.
If I remember right, when you were here for your episode, weren't you saying it really kind of needed a clip?
Oh yeah, it was definitely.
Well, there's probably easier ways to get it.
Yeah. No, I thought the same thing. The people ask me all the time. They're like, "Man, that, you know, that because it was the first time I'd ever been over."
Right.
You know, so
welcome to the club.
Yes, and I said I'm going to do my best not to do this again. My hope is that this doesn't happen again. But it's the thing that has fought me more than anything else is trying to race with a square car.
Yeah. Really?
Because I've never had one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Everything, the whole notebook for that car for 7 years is gone.
Yeah, it's
you
gone.
know, so everything is different. It responds different, you know, so it's been really an experience to try to get the car back in line, you know, so, but it's a good thing if you can have good runs while you're trying to figure it out. So.
Well, I look forward to watching y'all and what y'all can do in the future.
Thank you.
I think it's going to be a good time. One question I did have, when you rolled that thing over, did it crack the body all up, the fiberglass and everything? Did y'all fix that yourself, or can you still buy a vintage body anywhere, or do you got to fix them?
So I think Craig Crosley has a mold.
Does he? Okay.
Right? So now what we did is, luckily, all the pieces that broke, and it broke the window post, the side window post, all of that kind of stuff out. But we picked it all up on the racetrack and just put it all. So he came over one Saturday and we took like aluminum and plastic and put behind it to pop rivet everything back together. So he said, "Look," he said, "I can take the shell home and he does all the fiberglass work too."
Yeah, I was asking.
Yeah, he brought me a new hood and grill and all that stuff as well. So he does all, but like during the off season, if we go, I just wanted to get the shell back so I could put the car back together.
Right.
You know, so right now it has new sides and everything, but the roof looks like a puzzle. You know, it's just, you can see where all the cracks are, where it's been put back together, but it's all intact. And so,
man, that's awesome.
Yeah, we'll make it pretty during the off season.
That's right.
But I do have a new body sitting there at the house.
Oh, okay. All right. All right. Is it already painted blue?
No,
it's brand new then. It ain't even painted.
It is new.
No, okay.
But the only difference between it and the body we got now is paper thin, which the first one I had was paper thin. You know, but I used it for 10 years, so I didn't do too bad with it.
So my last question for you is, where did that blue and yellow paint scheme come from, and where did the number 12 come from?
Good question.
It was number 12. That was Sonny Hardy's number that was on it. I left that on it, but the blue and yellow come from me with the Blue Angels.
Okay.
Oh, that's where it comes. And it's got a bulldog in the center above the windshield.
A Mac dog,
bar. Yeah. When I brought this new car out there, it would blow your mind how many people I didn't have the bulldog on it.
Right.
Where's that bulldog? Where's that bulldog? You would not believe it, man. I mean, you got to have the bulldog. So I got the bulldog. He picked it up on the track up there in Florida.
Broke it off.
Did it?
Steve went out there and found it in the wrecker.
Oh, wow.
That's what he asked me. He said, he said, "Did you get my bulldog?" That's what he wasn't worried about anything else.
I worried about the rest. I worried about my bulldog. But it belonged to my brother.
Okay.
Yeah, of course, Billy's passed away since.
Yeah.
But that boy was a trip.
Yeah. I got to meet him. I got to tell this story. So
My brother?
yeah. So when he had that street stock car that Jerry was driving.
Listen, them boys wiped him out on money.
Yeah.
You wouldn't believe the money he put in that car.
Yeah, that thing was high dollar. When I was a deputy in Milton, I was working over there, and he owned that little tire shop right there.
Oh yeah.
You know, I was patrolling through there one day, and I seen that car out there, and I didn't know who it belonged to, whatever. And I was nosy. I was in my early 20s. I was like, well, dang, there's a race car. I want to know what's going on. So I went up there and I met him, and we just hit it off. I would stop by there all the time. Anytime I seen him out there, I'd talk to him and stuff like that. But I actually helped him tear down a motor one time. It was a Cody Johnson motor.
Yep.
And that was an awesome motor for back then in the day. But I really loved your brother a lot. He was always good to me and always gave good advice. I'd walk into his office and he'd be bouncing a cigarette on the table like that, packing it every time I walked in there.
Yeah.
But he was a good dude.
Yeah.
He really was.
He was a trip. He was your friend. You got in trouble, he was with you. But hey, yeah, I miss the old boy. But he's the one got me over there at Southern. Come go to racing with me. And a lot of them, even coming up, the guys used to bring me Model A's to time them for them. Model A,
Yeah.
you know, old 4-cylinder job, right? Hey, I worked on those things. We made beach buggies out of them. Pensacola Beach, we could run from Pensacola Beach Casino all the way to Fort Pickens on the beach over the sand dunes. Back in the 50s, man, we stayed on that beach. Model A beach buggy. They made one of the best ones.
Well, so here's what I want to do. I want you, because this has been a lot of fun. We're going on about an hour and 45 right here somewhere. So I want you to do something for me. I want to have you back at next season. All right. But I want you to think of some more stories about growing up in the 50s and the 60s. And we'll even talk about the war some if you want to. But Mr. Bobby, this has been so much fun. And
I've enjoyed it myself.
I've really appreciate this.
Didn't mean to get too
No, it's fine.
You're fine.
I'm proud of my girls.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And I think they're proud of you too.
Yeah,
they got to be.
They treat me good.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Yeah, both of them.
Well, again,
hard to believe I got a kid, 64 years old.
Well, you don't look like you would have a 64-year-old dog.
Oh yeah.
You know, you're just a spring chicken.
Yeah. Yeah, spring chicken. All right.
Yeah.
I'll stop right there.
That's funny. Well, guys, I do thank y'all so much for being here today. This has been awesome. Jake, you got anything else?
Yeah, this episode is brought to you by Blackwater Bookkeeping, Moorsight Solutions, Win the World of Pensacola, and Levada Borough Century 21. And if you're looking to get your business name out there, shoot us an email at theshorttrackshakedown@gmail.com.
Absolutely. Well, guys, thank y'all so much.
Thank you, Josh.
Yep. And this has been the Bobby Pittman story, episode number 37 in the books.
This has been a production of the Short Track Media Group, LLC. Any unauthorized recording, reproduction, or distribution without express written consent from the Short Track Media Group, LLC is strictly prohibited and will result in legal action.